Jealous people, envious people, haters do not like when you do not look like what you've been through. See, jealous people want you to be and exemplify the struggle. Jealous, envious people want you to look like every bit of what you've been through. They want you to look like you're struggling. They want you to look like you're down bad. They want you to look like you are always on edge. They want you to be anxious. They want you to be depressed. Jealous, envious people, they want you to look like what you've been through. And the fact that you don't irritates your haters. See, jealous, envious people, they absolutely enjoy, especially jealous women, they enjoy seeing other women look like they are going through it. I know that might sound bad, it might sound weird, but there are a lot of jealous, toxic women out there, men alike, but I'm talking about women, who enjoy seeing a woman down bad or doing bad. When people are jealous and envious of you, they want you to look like you're not going to overcome, you're not going to get through whatever it is you're going through. Actually, they're betting on you not getting over or getting through whatever it is you're going through. They like the conversation they're able to have about your life. They like the fact that they can sit around and talk about how bad your relationship is. They like the fact that they can sit around and talk about how you're struggling financially. They like the fact that they can sit around and talk about how dangerous your neighborhood is. They like the fact that they can sit around and talk about how bad you are, a time you're having as a mother, how you're having problems with your kids, how you're having problems with so-and-so, how whatever happened to you is happening to you. There are some people who are so jealous, so envious, so miserable that they only get joy by seeing you look like what you're going through. And somebody might be thinking, if a person is going through all of that, why would someone be jealous of a person who's having relationship issues, who's having, financial issues, who doesn't live in the best place? Why would somebody be jealous or envious of that? Why would somebody not, why would somebody even give thought to somebody who's going through all of that? It's simply because you do not look like what you're going through. See, you might be going through all of that, but you don't look like it. You keep yourself together. You keep your appearance together. You keep your demeanor together. You keep your spirit together. See, if you're a woman who's able to go through hard things and not look like you're going through hard things, people will hate on you and be jealous of the fact that you're not letting life destroy you. I know it's very weird to think about, but there are negative, jealous, envious people out there like that. They expect that if you're having relationship issues, you're supposed to just lay down and die and believe your world is over. But if you're a woman who understands that men, unfortunately for your guy, maybe, men come a dime a dozen. So if that doesn't work out, then hey, it is what it is. You're not going to chase a man. And jealous, envious women, they want you to lose your entire being. They want you to not be able to breathe again because some guy is doing wrong to you. But when you don't operate that way and you could care less, you might be hurt by the fact that you might have gotten cheated on. You might hear suspicions or rumors that something's happening, but you simply are moving on and you're doing what you know to do as a woman. You're keeping yourself together. You're not worrying about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. Jealous, envious haters do not like your tenacity. They do not like your resilience. They don't like the fact that you're not really that bothered, that your life is not going to end because of some clown. A lot of people who are jealous and envious, they don't like the fact that, you might be having challenges as a mother. You might be struggling right now with your kids. Your kids are giving you a hard time. But instead of looking at that and being depressed and anxious and all these different things, you are letting your kids suffer the consequences for their actions and you're doing what you know to do. Jealous, envious haters, they're going to say things to you or try to act like somehow you're not a great mother because you're not losing sleep over the fact that your kid is acting simple or they're doing something that might be destructive, but they're old enough to suffer the consequences and still get through. You're letting things play out. If you're a woman who is confident enough, has enough faith to let things play out and you still move forward with your everyday life, you're going to have some jealous, envious hater, such as they say, that monitoring spirit that's going to see how you move. And they're not going to like the fact that you're a little too calm for all the things that you're going through. You're a little too bit at peace for all of the things that you're going through. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that you're going through all of these things and yet you're so calm, you're so at peace. How are you like that? And a lot of times for many women, especially if you're a spiritual woman, it's the Spirit of God on the inside of you that's allowing you to maintain. But haters, jealous people, they will never understand that because they are so accustomed to being controlled by their emotions and the things that other people say and do to them that they fail to recognize that they have more control over their lives than what they actually exhibit. And you're exercising that control. You are allowing things to play out the way they need to play out without losing yourself, your sanity, your spirituality, without losing your mind. And jealous people absolutely want you to be crushed under the weight of life. And when you don't give them that satisfaction, when you don't give them that entertainment, when you don't give them the show that they're looking for by seeing you completely destroyed and crushed by your circumstances and you look good in it, they're going to hate on you. See, jealous, envious, just weird people, they are used to people running around, especially women, sometimes when women go through different things and you lack faith, you lack a little bit of confidence, you'll scurry on over to your haters. You'll scurry on over to toxic people who are just going to make life worse for you. But because you're so desperate, you run to the wrong people. And when you no longer operate in desperate energy, because jealous, envious people, they are betting on you and waiting for you to be so desperate that you reach out to them so that they can just burn you in the end. And when you become hip to that, when you become more of a wise woman, you recognize that, I might be going through things, I might need help, but I'm not going to subject myself to haters. I'm not going to subject myself to people who don't even know how to treat me well while I'm going through it. When things are up, they're not around. They only want to be around when things are bad. You ever notice that? And this is a little bit of sidebar. I notice here on YouTube where there's such thing as called a struggle niche, where people love all of these content creators and people while they're on here dry begging, talking about how they're in the struggle. They can't pay their light bill. They can't do this. They can't do that. People are drawn to struggle. But the moment those people come up in some way, suddenly they're now not their fans. They're not their followers. They're saying, you're doing this for money. You're doing this for that. You're doing this for that. And I give you that example to say that much like these people on YouTube, a lot of times who love to see people struggling, when they begin to not look like the struggle, when they begin to come out on the other side, some people cannot handle that. Or when you begin to not look like what you're going through, jealous people, they're going to come out the woodwork and try to make life harder for you. And that's the reason why you have to know in the beginning who's for you and who's not really for you. See, women, if you move in desperate energy, you almost always will set yourself up to be exposed, belittled, disrespected by jealous, envious haters. And it's simply because they want you to look like struggle. They want you to look like and feel like, they want you to really feel the full extent of what you're going through. And jealous, envious people, they will often use like fear tactics in order to try to get you to really feel what might happen in your situation. They might tell you something to the extent that, well, if this keeps happening, you never know, if he leaves, and you guys are married and you guys been together for a long time. And, if this happens, this might happen. They're trying to put some kind of fear into you so that you turn your attention away from maintaining and keeping your hope onto the object of whatever's giving you a hard time. See, people oftentimes, especially when they're jealous or they're just toxic, They want you to grovel after the toxic thing that's giving you a hard time. They want you to hold on to struggle. These are often the haters that will convince you to stay in bad situations, all because they don't want to see you come up in some way. I know it's sad to think about, but there are people who are like that. And when you recognize those kind of behaviors, people who are trying to encourage you to stay in the struggle, stay in bad circumstances that are not benefiting you, that are doing nothing but hurting you, they will become jealous, envious haters when you don't let them do that to you. And when you present yourself and carry yourself like, yeah, I know I'm going through this. I might be in this situation, but I'm not staying here. Oh, they absolutely do not like your optimism. They absolutely do not like the fact that you see a light at the end of the tunnel, that you see that God is going to deliver you from this thing. They absolutely do not like it. And it's simply because a lot of times jealous, envious people, your haters, they are more comfortable with you being down bad. They are more comfortable with you being broken. So ladies, when you recognize that somebody does not have your best interests at heart and they only want to be there for you or encourage you to stay stuck, because that's really what it is. When haters cannot believe that you are still maintaining, looking beautiful, keeping yourself together, doing the best you know how to do, despite your circumstances, they're going to look at you as if you've done something wrong. Like, how can you be so chill? How can you be so at ease when this is happening? And it's simply because you refuse to let your circumstances overtake you. Jealous, envious people, haters, they are very weird. They possess very weird negative energy. It's like they only want to see you, hopeless. They only want to see you speaking hopeless, thinking hopeless, talking hopeless. And in that, they're more comfortable with you. They'll come around more. As long as you don't show any signs of hope, they'll be there for you. But the moment you get a little confident and say, hey, I don't need this job because I know how to make money otherwise. I can work for myself. I can write a book. I can do a bit. I can make a business. I can do a side hustle, whatever you want to do. When you have that kind of talk, it's like you speak a little bit too big. You speak a little bit too, nonchalantly. You speak like you have options. And jealous, envious people don't like hearing people, other people, especially other women, speak as if they have options, especially when they don't see themselves as having options. If you're a woman who understands that you're never stuck and you have options in life, and I know a lot of women, a lot of people have been programmed to believe that you're stuck. You don't have any options. The job holds their entire life in your hands, that the world holds your entire life in your hands. The president holds your entire life in his hands. The government holds your entire life in their hands. But if you're a woman who does not subscribe to that kind of narrow-minded thinking, and when I say narrow-minded, I mean narrow-minded in a worldly perspective, not from a spiritual perspective. I have to say that because from a spiritual perspective, especially if you're a believer such as myself, narrow is the way. So I'm not saying like that. I'm saying that from a perspective of just leveling up and knowing you have options. And if you want to be spiritual, believing that God can do all things. See, haters don't want you to believe that God can do all things. Jealous people don't want you to have any kind of spirituality or hope. They just want you to see what's in front of you and get stuck. Jealous people are depending on you seeing what's right in front of you and saying, I'll never make it. And when you are a woman who doesn't think that way, they won't be able to stand you. They won't be able to stomach the fact that not only are you looking good, look, you might not even have that much money. You might not have that much money, but you have enough to at least get your hair done or do your own hair. You might go to discount stores, dollar stores, and get you outfits that you know how to throw together and make it do what it does. You might go to, retail stores, Macy's, Nordstrom's, places where they do makeup, and just get a little makeup done, make yourself look good. And they're not going to understand, like, aren't you struggling? Aren't you going through? How do you look like this? Oh, that's irresponsible. How do you have your hair done, your nails done, and you're going through this? Because you can. because that's your way of maintaining. Because in addition to you trusting God and doing different things and doing what you know to do, you're still going to keep yourself together. You'll never look like what you're going through, and the haters can't stand that. So as confident, leveled up women, you might be going through a time. I understand, because there were many times in my life where I was really going through it. I didn't feel like I was really, my life really wasn't where it should be at my age. That's really the way I used to feel. I would always feel like somehow I'm behind in life. And when you feel that way, the way I see it, the last thing you want to do is actually look that way. So I always subscribe to the idea of that I don't have to look like what I'm going through. And if other people don't understand how I look, how I maintain, how I operate the way that I do, that's on them. Let them assume what they want to assume. But if people can only accept you when you look like what you're going through and you act desperate and needy, those are not the people for you. So stay away from jealous, envious people who do not like for you to not look like what you're going through, because they're haters. And if they don't like you in the struggle, or they only appreciate you in the struggle, they will not like you when you level up. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.